Hi everyone, I'm Airier, and here we're checking out Super Eyepatch Wolf's The Bizarre World of Fake Video Games. Now, I've seen both his Bizarre series and the Fake series he's done, because those are apparently completely separate ones with very different outcomes. The Bizarre series is usually, oh, this is weird, and it gets creepy, but also it's kind of cool. And then whenever he does anything fake, it's usually, this is creepy, and it's weird, and you should probably consider this some type of crime you should avoid under all costs. Bizarre and fake in the same title is kind of scaring me, especially since it's fake video games. So all I can think of, actually it's Yandere Simulator is what comes to my mind off the top of my head, because it's a game that's in beta and will never be done due to, and I'm just going to leave it there because the rest I don't want to get into, because YouTube might not appreciate specific details that I don't entirely know are true or not. I don't want to find out in case they are. More importantly, you guys know the deal. Link below, original video. Hit it up. Let's get started. What is this? Oh!
Welcome, traveler, to a distant place, a world of both impossible beauty and unimaginable horror, a land where the brave will...
Okay, for some reason I thought this was one of those fake wizards from like D&D shorts. It's like they have the same beard. You know, they actually probably bought the same beard for it.
Select one of 12 characters. Will you choose the mighty Minor Knight, the lowly Ratman, or the destitute?
Why does this look like Darkest Dungeon?
Can you marshal their strengths and venture across a vast realm where only through hard-fought battle and victory will both the treasures and mysteries of this land spill themselves onto ye? Be it.
Can we not phrase it that way? I'm sorry, I was already thinking Darkest Dungeon because of the entire art style here. And considering everything in that game, I don't want to hear about someone spilling themselves on me. It's fake video games, Mike. Just remember that. Okay, you know, and it's just... I hope it doesn't go that way.
What lies in the dead man's garden? The bounty that awaits at the pauper's catacombs, or
grave robbing.
Madness that lies within the glass purgatory. Oh no!
That sounds pretty cool.
World of monsters, both great and foul. Have ye the stomach to face down the abominable stench champion?
I'm assuming everything he's showing us an image of is some kind of fake video game, of course. I don't know why it is specifically fake, if it's just marketing that was never used, or if it's supposed to imitate the style of a video game, but I don't care because everything about this image gets worse the more I look at it. I'm completely agreeing with my earlier assessment that this reminds me of Darkest Dungeon, because it does, and it's lower pixel count, even though it looks like it's more of screen printed almost, and yet it is even creepier than Darkest Dungeon got. I know I'm wrong, but don't correct me on that, please.
Will you discover the secret of the Goblin Knight?
Oh.
But heed my words, young hero. Do not fall prey to the sinister temptation of the dubious friend.
Multi-headed.
Step forward, my champions, for this is the world of Vermis, a brand new video game from Plastibu Entertainment, and Vermis is not real, and you
so this was
it's
actually
not
specifically what, marketing?
real, because that's the name of the video.
I thought for a second part of the wig didn't come off. I forgot he dyed his hair. Okay, well played there.
Hello, it's me, back from my journey down another internet hole to bring you another one of these.
Okay, I don't usually say this, but goddamn, that is such a freaking cool shirt, man. Seriously, his character models look like they should be in a fighting game or something.
Videos. This time we're talking about the strange
Divorce Simulator. I think I've seen that. Doug plays it.
World of fake video games. Much like explaining to your accountant that the wizard costume you bought is tax deductible, fake video games can be a little hard to understand at first, as you could be talking.
Finally, yeah, I can see how that one's fake, obviously, but some of the other ones look like they could actually be very cheaply made games.
About anything from Kickstarter game development scams, AAA game trailers that were never real, Sony.
Honestly, he's saying Sony. I'm going Anthem on this one.
You motherfucking liars. Mobile phone apps where... honestly, I have no idea what's happening here. Or Hollow Knight.
I feel like I should censor that last part, but technically nothing bad that I needed to censor happened. I also haven't seen that specific ad yet, and I'm okay with that. No.
Silk Song. But we're not talking about any of those
Silk
because
Song? I thought that was a game.
don't care. I do care about Hollow Knight Silk Song. I bet that will be.
It requires skill,
good.
so I can't play that game.
What we are talking about is the bizarre phenomenon of people creating games that just don't exist. And maybe you're thinking, John, what does that even mean? What are fake video games? None of this makes any sense. To which I would respond, no, it doesn't.
Already?
Look, just watch the fucking video. On the 11th of
I'm sorry, it's a cop-out moment for me, but I absolutely love these transitions where you cut yourself off midway when you drop down tone and go right into it and just move to the next segment. It's stupid, and I don't know why I love it, because I know about The Sopranos ending. I don't like The Sopranos ending, because of the very reason I like what he just did. It does not make sense. But it's a stupid style of humor I enjoy.
February 2012, a 1 minute and 19-second video was uploaded to the internet.
The original Persona 5 by Blue. So when he's saying fake video games, it's not just the scams, it's not just the trailers that were complete bullshit, Anthem, that were then just propping up a game and were completely unfaked. Not even unfaked, just not even fake. Because fake would imply there was something they were trying to fake, like Anthem, which was just bullshit. I'm not torn up about that at all, or still massively disappointed years later. So he's going with people who basically do pseudo-trailers in advance for things that aren't real. It's kind of like a what-if proposition. That's actually way less disappointing than I thought it would be, and I'm actually kind of curious.
Video was simple, just a still image with a song playing over it. But the curious part was the title. Persona 5 Tightrope title
PlayStation 3.
Uploaded to a channel called Atlas XP5, and curious because A, Atlas was the publisher of popular video game series Persona, and B, at this point, Persona 4 had been out for 4 years, but there hadn't been a single word on Persona 5.
And that was 2012, if that date stamp is anything to go by to sell it. And Persona 5 came out, what, 5 years ago? Did Persona 5 come out in the 10s or the 20s? I don't know. I don't want to find out. It would hurt me to find out.
Except this video. And suspicious as that seemed, there was something so real about it. The song itself was a beautifully composed piece of jazz fusion that fit in well with series composer Shoji Meguro's previous soundtracks.
I almost wonder if this is someone's
featured could have been ripped directly from the art books of Persona character designer Shigenorumi Sojima.
So basically, this is someone trolling, but they're too skilled for their own good, it seems like.
With elements combining into something that felt bafflingly real, but even more so when, in the weeks that followed, more and more tracks began to appear on Atlas XP5. And you could hear the entire game in these songs, the boss battles, the hangout music, the shopping sections.
Oh, they went all out on this.
It wasn't just music being uploaded to Atlas XP5's accounts. Concept art, promotional posters, environmental design, and even animated trailers began to appear, and perhaps...
What the fuck? I was expecting this is going to be like low budget, but they tell a story. This is going full on. It's almost like someone had a design that they scrapped and then leaked it. Unless they're pulling from places I'm not expecting. I mean, if someone did this now, I would assume they just got Sora whenever it comes out to just do an AI art image generation and cut it down to the points that don't look cursed. But this is not now, so...
Perhaps most intriguing, full character profiles, revealing a cast of classic Persona archetypes. From the silent Sigma gamer protagonist to everyone's favorite...
Sigma gamer? Isn't that just an incel who has slightly more self-respect? Also, I don't think with how many playthroughs are thirsty, I don't think they could ever say that, except for this guy. This guy can get away with it. No. You and 5 do not get to say that.
favorite inferior male companion. But where things started to get bizarre was when actual screenshots of the game began to appear, detailing actual gameplay systems like a social media mechanic, as well as a controller layout for what looked like an emotions-driven dialogue system. Soon, even pitch decks for the game's story were being uploaded, unveiling a narrative that featured interdimensional old gods and an in-game apocalypse the player would survive. And
at that point, that sounds less like a Persona game and more like Shin Megami Tensei. Pretty sure there was an apocalypse in one of the games. Was this being done by someone who just wanted to get his attention? Not so much like from people in general, but specifically from Atlus, like, hey, look how great this idea is. Maybe you should do it. Hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if someone used this on a resume, because this seems like a lot of work. It even says fandom in here.
While that maybe felt a little bleak for the Persona series, it fit perfectly with Persona's darker parent series, Shin Megami Tensei, a return that a portion of the fanbase,
and that would probably be what they're looking for. It's the connection piece between the series is what they probably wanted to see, so they're doing a fan-made version of it.
Had been rabid for. Those fans now passionately speculating about the validity of this game. Speculation that went into overdrive when an official 2013 teaser trailer of Persona 5 seemed to reflect the themes of manipulation and control that were present in everything Atlas XP5 had revealed.
I wonder almost if they would be aware of that when they made the new marketing. But if it was in English, probably not, because Atlus isn't the worst company, but there's a lot of Japanese companies that are kind of myopic when it comes to any awareness of their audience outside Japan, considering it wasn't for the longest time any part of their main budget.
The artwork to the story details to even the titles of its songs. And with this, a tantalizing inevitability crept into focus. Someone within Atlus was leaking Persona 5. And 22 years later, the official trailer for Persona 5 dropped.
Very different. I'm almost wondering if what they have is concept that they just threw out, because that does happen. And I'm sure some of these fake games are probably exactly that, but it doesn't. Would this one be it though? Probably not. It couldn't be that. Love the music still in this.
It was a completely different video game.
Yeah.
So, what in the sweet Kenpachi Ramasama was this?
I'm going Kenpachi. The only thing I can think there is Bleach, but what the hell is the rest of that? Normally I wouldn't just go for a random call out there, but what the hell? Also, goddamn. If this isn't real, I want someone to make a real game out of this.
Well, the truth is, by 2015, cracks had already started to appear in whatever this was.
Like the actual game being published?
In the 3 years since that first video, that initial tightrope title screen theme being traced back to a single from J-pop duo Vivid Blaze, with all other tracks on this page being traced back to similar musical acts or soundtracks that were little known outside Japan. And
and that... So if they're little known outside Japan, that means whoever started this probably was in Japan then. Would this be a case of a guerrilla campaign to promote the little known acts then? No, there'd be more singular focus at that point.
While it's speculated that some of the artwork at least is original, I was able to trace enough of it back over the course of an afternoon to the point that I seriously doubt that. Meaning that what we're actually looking at here is a bizarre magpie's nest of dozens of different pieces of media scavenged from across the internet and then chopped and spliced together into something that creates the illusion of a real video game.
I'm going to be honest, normally at this point, I'm already terrified of whatever Super Eyepatch Wolf is covering, and this is absolutely fascinating. And I don't feel horrible about it for once. This is something that shouldn't be surprising to me, but yeah, I'm just really invested in finding out what's going on here. And the only thing I would be disappointed is if this video ends without some kind of conclusion of, and here is the person behind it, here is their thought process. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't, but I would love if we had that, because I want to know what inspired this, because this is a level of creativity that is so freaking cool. If that same person does it now with the AI generated assets, I mean, they're not going to make the original stuff. They're just reusing assets that already exist, so it wouldn't really change that much. But maybe give them a better degree of flexibility to pitch an idea.
This is what became known as Persona 5 Imagining Project, and its existence raises some interesting and precise questions. 1, why does a piece of media like this even exist?
Just
2,
different than
how
writing?
was it able to convince so many people?
Oh, actually, the first 2, I'm assuming fan fiction essentially, but someone who didn't want to write a story but wanted to create mixed media, or a mix of media specifically. How is it convincing? I mean, same reason fan fiction works, because people want it, and they're starved for more because they want it.
3, what is even the appeal of a fake video game from...
Is this going to be the fan fiction episode or something? The appeal is actually, at least with this, it's based on the audience wanting more, and it's like, ooh, cool, this is cool. This is the kind of people who look at leaks, who look at new spoilers and drip marketing, who get absolutely drawn into that. And considering the prevalence of drip marketing now in a lot of gaming companies, I'm wondering if this was someone who got a job later on in this entire industry, because it's proving that they know exactly how to get people invested into something. Hell, if it isn't someone who was hired into marketing because they know how to get someone invested in, someone needs to find this guy and make an offer, because that is really damn effective.
From an audience perspective. 4, why would someone put so much time and effort
Obsession
into
and boredom.
making it? And
Same as
5,
everything else.
Finally, have I wasted a significant portion of my life making this video?
Considering it looks like this is fascinating, no. I'm not even going to joke about this one. It looks like this is a really valid use of time, because interesting shit is interesting.
Except for that last one, we are going to answer all these questions
I think we
in
answered the
relation
last
to
one.
Persona 5 Imagining Project, but also
Ooh, we
a
actually get
bunch
answers?
of other weird shit. And so to start, why does a fake video game even...
I'm sorry, just normally when I see these, like, and here's the questions that we never get answers for. I was hoping to get an answer, and he just said, we're going to get answers to this. And I'm just sitting here going like, is it my birthday? No, it is not. But I'm going to pretend it is.
exist? And in a way, that answer is simple. See, any idiot can make a fake video game.
To what
For
degree
example-
of quality? What? Eyepatch Wolves, all rights reserved, 0 Day Inc., 1990X. Did he actually make a fake video game? You know, I said some of his mascots look like they should be in a fighting game already, and I'll stand by it. If they actually made one, even if they just did a stupid mock-up, I'd play it as demo version. Reflection. Ooh, press start. Holy shit, man! I stand by what I said, and now I think I'm vindicated. Super Eyepatch Wolf, why are you not actually making this? I don't, this, look at the, gah! I think the part about this that pisses me off the most, wow, I have food on the mind, the most, is that this is obviously fake, because he said it is, unless he's doing a rug pull and saying, no, it's out, you can get it in a few weeks, or months, or maybe next year. God damn it, I love everything about this style already. Ooh. Fox Boss with a Raven? Eyepatchwolves.com. New run of it. Oh, it's not even his fake stuff, it's just a merch drop.
Okay, that was actually advertisements for my fake anime/video game that I pretend is real through
Stop pretending and make the damn thing. Shut up and take my money.
t-shirts featuring the brand new Kimberly Angel long sleeve tee for people who either are or would like to be around a psychologically unstable clown girl.
You know, I was going to say that's actually a very small majority of people. And I stand by it. It's a small majority of people. The clown part kind of terrifies me less than the psychologically issued one.
I'm gonna knock 20% off everything for the next 48 hours or until I remember to turn the sale off. So
that
you
case.
can buy some if you want. Eyepatchwolves.com. I promise this has actual relevance to this video. It's
Yes, we get it because you made a fake intro. We got just you. You just could have maybe said, "Oh, by the way, we're actually looking into this." I'm hoping the first comment is, "When are you making the game?" Nope, the first comment is not making the video game. Someone should just get on him for that.
It's not just me being a nightmare capitalist person, though it is that too. Like a lot of people, I have always wanted to tell a story or create some kind of fictional universe. So I thought, what if I use YouTuber merch to piece by piece suggest a fictional interconnected world and through clothes tell that story?
You know what? I'm a gotcha player. This is good character design. All he really needs to do is just say, hey, if you buy a shirt, you get a QR code for the character in game. And suddenly that actually becomes an incredibly useful way to force people into buying merchandise. So you don't have too much stock and you can actually get a backlog of everything in advance. This, I mean, it probably wouldn't be as profitable as just having people gotcha for it, but I don't think he's that corrupt as to do that. I'm a horrible person, but he's actually a good designer for here. Or at least finding people who can do good design. I'm talking myself into ways to give him money. That is a thing.
Fake video games work exactly the same way. They let us take ideas for stories, worlds, and experiences and let us ask, what if this existed as a video game?
I think I know where this entire video is going to get me. These ideas look super fascinating. Kind of like his little teaser intros, like press start. And all of the cool designs, it's not going to be that this is depressing because it's not real. It's depressing because I want it to be real. And every step of the way, this is going to remind me, don't worry, it's fake. You can't. I mean, KFC made a Colonel Sanders dating sim. It wouldn't be the weirdest thing to see this. Let me just believe this for a minute, please.
And that question, what if, can come in a lot of different forms, but one of the simplest and honestly most fun is the idea of demakes. By the way, I broke my finger, which is why I have to wear this, and you're not allowed to make fun of me. Demakes asks the question of what if a modern video game existed on an older console?
Oh, I think I've seen this. I thought I was just going crazy at first, but no, yeah. That's a really unique idea.
So take something like Elden
Still
Ring,
a weird
a
sign.
title whose massive lush world pushes current generation hardware to their limits.
It does?
So it's kind of interesting to think about, what if that gigantic world was then crammed onto a PlayStation 1? Well, the Elden Ring demake trailer answers
I mean, if you had like 10 discs, I'm sure they could fit it in.
that question. And it is bizarre looking at it. It's the uncanny feeling that this is the game you know, but coming from a different time. What's kind of insane though is that we can push that question even further, back another entire generation in fact.
Okay, admittedly, I think this looks way better than the PS1 era. Personal opinion, I just love this art style. Not always a big fan of playing on it, but I do love how it looks. Hell, if someone made a 64-bit game in Elden Ring style, that would probably just be Dead Souls. Or sorry, Dead Souls, I think. Dead Leaves? Whatever.
With 64-bits Elden Ring video, this time asking what
it's
if
basically
Elden
old school
Ring
Zelda
existed on a Super Nintendo. And it's fucking cool, but there are entire communities of artists doing this. Taking games and dragging them backward on the generational timeline, asking questions like, what if Horizon Zero Dawn was a Super Nintendo game, or Genshin Impact was a PS1 RPG, or...
I mean, I think they already answered this one. It's called Honkai Star Rail. It actually still works out pretty well.
If Tears of the Kingdom ran on an N64.
Isn't that just like Mario 64 at that point, but with a different character?
I think what makes these posts so popular is that there's something compelling about watching an artist deconstruct a video game, recognizing the core parts of it, and then showing creativity in how they preserve those parts through something as massive as a regression in generation. But for as cool as all this is, there is also artists doing the exact opposite.
Taking older things and make them newer? Basically Final Fantasy VII Remake before the remake.
This is Power Quest, and Power Quest kind of rules. It's Pokemon with robots through a weird adventure fighting game. Unfortunately, due to the hardware of the Game Boy, the lack of visual detail means that idea of little battling robots gets kind of lost, instead looking like a more generic fighter. And that's not a slight on the developers, they were working within the limitations they had, but what's so cool...
Yeah. Developer side. Why is there a naked guy holding a duck above his head? They knew their medium and had a lot of fun with the backgrounds in a way that most people at this time wouldn't. If this was upgraded, it would be very disturbing.
Cool about Snake Pixel's reimagining is how it frees Power Quest.
Okay, one. That is absolutely amazing. I love how you can tell the toys. And I was right. This is absolutely disturbing.
Of those limitations, using the increased visual fidelity to create depth, which lets its background elements like the dog and the cat give us a sense of scale and the visual context to understand just how small these little fighters actually are.
Which you wouldn't have before because they look like generic
I
backgrounds.
really love the addition of this book bag. It creates this kind of after-school atmosphere, like two kids have met up, tossed all their school shit aside, and are now battling their tiny robots, all making for an image that feels more like Power Quest than Power Quest.
Yeah.
This is what I love about Snake Pixel's work. They'll take the core
they've done
of
this
what's
before?
cool about a game and then rebuild it visually in a way that frees it of whatever limitations held back the original. And those limitations aren't always technical. Take, for example, the original Chrono Trigger. Easily one of the most beloved games of all time.
I mean, I've heard it's still one of the best RPGs out there, and I need to get around to it. I don't know why I haven't.
That bafflingly never got a true sequel. I know Chrono Cross exists. It's a fine game. It doesn't count. However,
I knew they were just there. I thought they just shared the title of Chrono. I didn't realize they were connected. Are they? I actually don't know anything about it.
In 2001, a mysterious new trademark was created by Square, Chrono
What?
Break, which at least
Oh, is this the one where it turned out they were trying to look into NFTs for it? No, it's 2001. It's probably not, thank God. Yeah, it was Square, not Square Enix at the time. And Enix is the one within, or sorry, Square Enix is the one within the last couple of years. They decided to go full on NFTs. I should point out, after the bubble burst and everyone knew they were useless finally. And then they got into it.
least for a little while, seem to be a project in active development. However, due to the political snake pit that is video game production, the staff of Chrono Break were reportedly subsumed by Final Fantasy XI. That Chrono Break trademark.
And that was a problem because Final Fantasy XI sucked. Isn't that the one that was MMO and then it died and they had to redo it? And then they did it again with 14 and it died and they had to redo it? Or am I getting that game mixed up completely?
Mark expiring in 2011, meaning that whatever this potential sequel might have been, we will never know.
Maybe. If no one owns the rights to that name right now, there's always a chance they might re-reserve it in case they want to do it, because maybe someone in Square Enix will get their head out of the NFT butthole and do something smart. Admittedly, the smart option would be find a different company to work for at the moment, because the current one is actively trying to sabotage itself, but maybe not completely smart and just go, hey, why don't we do this? Because if they got the licensing for it down, that's probably because they were looking to do it and they wanted to re-reserve it in case someone did that, because that's something that does happen in the video game community and a lot of other developments, where they will take some type of advanced preparation to reserve a name in case they want to use it. Might not, but if they're working on it, they might have some pre-designed assets, even if it's just storyboarding to get what's in there. And if they have any notes from Toriyama, one, considering unfortunately he passed earlier this year, that sucks, or was it last year? I don't want to remember. Anything they have from him is going to be a gold mine, because it's one of the things they could say, an unreleased masterpiece in the making from Akira Toriyama, famed and deceased director, created before his demise. And if that's the entire marketing, one, it's horrible and you should never actually do it like that. Two, it would still probably sell. As long as there's a Spanish version, they will be guaranteed to make money.
But the closest we'd get would be 23 years after the release
but this
of
is
the
probably
original
fake
Chrono
media.
Trigger, in the form of Snake Pixel's fan-made Chrono Break trailer, an animation that asks, what if Chrono Trigger got that sequel? What a new adventure starring Luca and Magus might look like.
The crazy part is, I've heard some AI designers, not just the people who design for AI, but who are designing the programming that leads to the creation of artificial media. You know what? I wasn't actually going for AI as artificial intelligence, but artificial media. But yeah, the acronym works. I guess the current one is AGI, artificially generated images, but whatever. It's not impossible. You say, here is Chrono Trigger to a more advanced AI. We want the game in the style of this, but with a new story with this title. And if they just can feed it in, there's a way to generate that. Unfortunately, it would probably be an absolute pile of shit, considering it would basically be all auto-generated. And if you've seen anything about auto-generated levels, they're boring. So probably a horrible idea. But there's going to be someone out there who thinks, you know what, I can actually do this. And they'll probably just use an AI to fake a video game. And it's not as bad as a Disney or Nintendo lawsuit they would be facing, but there'd probably still be a lawsuit.
Giving us a glimpse into this world that was never possible.
Honestly, just basing this as a game would be
This
fine.
is something really fun about fake video games. No matter how great an idea is for an actual video game, there's countless different limitations that can stop it from existing. Technical, financial, a company's belief in an IP, or an expectation around what it should be. But with a fake video game, those limitations...
What? Metroid Prime Pocket? And it's someone who definitely knows where the audience is going on this one. Giant-ass guns and Zero Suit. Ridley, of course, because he has to be in everything. I'm pretty sure it's like a contract somewhere.
Disappear,
More cartoony,
and
though.
we can just ask, what if Zelda was a 2D fighting game? What if Amy Rose...
I mean, I'm pretty sure you got Ganondorf. I think you have Ganondorf in Smash Brothers. Granted, that wouldn't be 2D, that'd be 3D, so whatever.
had her own platformer, or if Street Fighter looked like a Saturday morning cartoon, or Pokemon had actual interesting art direction, or if...
Okay, there's things you could assume, and then there's Nintendo getting off its ass. I think we all know which one's more likely, unfortunately. This would be fascinating, though. Just this is the design for the different battles. But they don't need to because their fans are rabid. And Pal World wasn't nearly a big enough hit to make that change. Because the people playing it will immediately go back to Pokemon as soon as the new one comes out.
If Disney and Nintendo had a crossover fighter, or
Eh.
FLCL was a tag battler, or...
That last one we should probably hold off on, because if there's anything with sequels in FLCL, maybe it's not a good option.
Evangelion a turn-based fighter, or JoJo a visual novel, or Golden Boy a point-and-click adventure, or if Junji Ito's Gyo is a PS1 survival horror, or Silent Hill a skateboarding game. Oh, that's in poor taste. Or Pokemon was Australian, or oh god.
I mean, wouldn't everyone just die immediately if it was Pokemon Australia?
This one's really wild. If House MD was a DS game with full-on fake screenshot mockups, fake gameplay sections, even a fake listing on Metacritic.
I mean, there's enough convincing things there. I wouldn't even be... How many other fake video games exist on Metacritic that have better scores than Anthem? I'm still stuck on that, damn it.
Oh my god, that's fucking real. People have been uploading fake video game mockups to the internet for pretty much as long as the internet has
Advent
existed
Children.
in its current form. One of the earliest I could find was from 16 years ago, just 2 years after YouTube was created, Resident Evil Rangist. And they show it, not just because I think it's cool and I've never heard anyone talk about it, but to highlight the insane amount of effort it would take for someone in that era on that hardware to create something this convincing. But there are so many insanely ambitious projects.
Okay, I swear this is like Paper Mario. But is that Bowser on your team? Oh, dude. Majin Wario. Oh my god.
Projects like
That's
this
kind of adorable.
to this day, like Pokugami, which
What?
asks, what if early Pokemon games could exist in the style of the original Ken Sugimori concept art?
One, that would be a way darker series. Because that comic was, very different in tone than some of the things that came after it. Not bad, though. Very different, but also good.
Which, for the record, are some of my favorite
Kinda
illustrations in existence.
They're very
What
cute.
are you? And the result is something that has this uncanny nostalgia, so completely different to what these games were, and yet
Still somehow less visually janky than some of the later games that came out In the 20+ era. Really cool, though.
So beautifully faithful to them. Another example being Curiomatic's impossible trailer for Mother 3 that asks, what if that world was rebuilt in the style of the Plasticine models from the original Earthbound Player's Guide, dragging out the core of...
Oh, that's from the Player's Guide? Because I never actually saw the Player's Guide because honestly, it was never really something I could pick up from Mother at all. I heard of Earthbound, but only through Super Smash. And dude, this actually looks so incredibly cute. If someone isn't working on this now, they need to get on it.
Mother 3 and rebuilding it in this simultaneously impossible but faithful way.
That's
One
so
project
cute.
that takes that concept to the absolute extreme being Onry Boy's Dreambound, asking what if the world of Kirby existed as this bizarre mashup fusing the aesthetic of Earthbound and the gameplay and mechanics of Paper Mario, and everything from the gosh darn gorgeous pixel art to the tactile feel of the menus is so convincing in answering that question. Even though it is just an animation, it's
cute.
so hard not to see it as an actual video game.
Okay, so I'm going to cut this one here because I actually ran out of time to record, and I probably should have thought about that in advance, but I didn't, so it's a little too late. I'm going to do this anyways. But goddamn, this is so freaking cool, man. There are so many images here. I'm just like, why are people not just literally going to these creators and say, hey, we want to buy this idea off you. Also, we own the rights, so technically we don't have to, but we're being nice. Come as an advisor, and we can pay you for this. Use it as marketing, and then just make these games because this is so freaking cool. It's like an entire grow-it-yourself indie genre for basically huge franchises. I love everything about this. I think the only problem with this is that the inherent it is fake, so you can't play them part is probably getting to me already. And that's I want this. This looks so neat. I honestly do hope somewhere within this video there is a segment where he talks about, and here's all the fake video games that got elevated and picked up by companies into real games. I want that. If it happens, don't tell me, because I actually want to be surprised for once. I mean, I'm usually surprised, but that's just because things are so horrible. I kind of just have memory shock and it just goes away. But this doesn't seem like that kind of video, so this is nice. I'm happy. I'm enjoying this. I'm not existentially questioning my existence due to things he has said in the last 20 minutes that have made me horrified at the state of reality. And it's a nice change of pace. Well, basically what I'm saying is if you haven't already, there's a link below to the original video. Hit it up. Super Eyepatch Wolf is covering things I never even knew about. I knew about fan fiction, but I didn't know all the games media they just created around it to do their own very specialized version. And it's so freaking cool. I love this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.